think we're good. You're still with me, right?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, if you need to restart your PC after this, if something's still wonky, no problem.
Okay.
No worries, I can wait.
Seems like it's working. Oh, I need to reduce my audio.
Prepare for battle.
Okay. We're Terrorblade. Competitive 5v5 Dota.
Yes, sir.
You've been playing with your teammates long?
We've only played like maybe like 4 different weekends together. So we just play on Sundays, like 2 matches each Sunday. The season just started, so
Gotcha.
so we're pretty fresh team.
You're probably against like DP Marcy?
Yep.
We're gonna be a tough lane. I might have started Stick. I cast a lot of spells.
Yeah. I'm not always sure when to go Stick. Because I guess I think that the Death Prophet I'll get a fair amount of charges from, but I'm not sure what the Marcy.
Right. So in this situation, like, what do you think about what happened? Like, what's happening right now?
I mean, right now it seems pretty good for me. I have a decent. I mean, the wave's pushing. But I mean, it's pretty decent situation for me just because I can freely hit the creeps.
Right. You have complete control. They're completely zoned out. So this
Yeah.
for carry. This is like really good, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you won the lane, right? But there's just going to be it should be a really good first wave for you. So what would what's your priorities be in this situation?
Just making sure I get all the last hits and keep the wave static if possible.
Yeah. Keep the wave static if possible. Deny this range creep. It's like your number one priority, I think. And like making sure you're not pushing it for no reason. So like you're hitting this creep. I don't really think you need to do that. This range creep is now ready to deny. Kind of slow on it, and you're just like you were hitting that creep and you didn't need to, and you were slow on this deny, and now this DP just walks up and like gets denies in your face.
Yeah.
So like you add like a really good situation, and then you just have to like prioritize, right? First thing that matters, securing like the range creep deny. Second thing that matters is like making sure you get every CS. So make sure that you're focusing on those things because it's a big deal. Like, right, this wave should have gone really well, and instead he gets like a deny for no reason. And you almost missed the deny on your end, which is not a huge deal, but
yeah, like I should see like the first wave as like a super like hyper focused time, right?
Yeah, exactly. The net result is okay. Like the lane's like even, but could have been better. For sure. You definitely want to be focused on like what you're trying to do. Okay, so you're like contesting this. It's okay. It's good denies. I maybe would have left their other creep alive, just so the lane pushes back longer here. Like instead of auto attacking it down there, because then it would have left 2 creeps alive for them and only 1 for you, which means these creeps would have gotten up here faster and would have kept the lane equilibrium. See if we can lift that. It's really hard if the replay bugs, but right here. Just don't last at this creep.
Right.
Just, just pull it up and, like, wait right outside of tower range.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because that's especially... It's really hard, especially in a Marcy lane, right? It's just like she can punish you so much if you have to, like, if the lane pushes.
Exactly. And, like, what's the net result is now the lane's, like, up here instead of, like, back here.
Yeah.
So, kind of just these, like, small unforced errors that will, like, eventually add up over time.
Yep.
So Q. Okay, so you're pressuring. It's unfortunate. Did you, like, note that they got a pull off there? Did you, like, realize that?
No, I don't think it did.
Yeah. So I don't know if it completely changes. Like, I don't think it necessarily changes what you do here, but, like, they got a pull off over here.
Yeah, I can see it now. Yeah.
So hitting this guy is fine.
They just get like one creep.
Yeah, it might have been two. I'm not sure. Maybe it was just one. Okay. So use her meta. Our Wyvern's dead. Could pull for herself, maybe?
I think it pulled a little too early here.
Well, at least you tried, honestly. That's what's important. Yeah, so you, like, almost focused on the right thing. There's nothing you can really do about this Wyvern. I think you kind of, like, realize that, like,
Right.
You're,
That's what
you're
I'm thinking. I'm
realizing
like,
that
well,
right
what do
now.
I do, right? Like, yeah, I'm not going to walk over there and start fighting him.
Yeah, there's not too much you can do about that. So here, what you would want to do is you'd want to defensive aggro. These replay bugs are crazy annoying. Like, I can't go back only 10 seconds. Alright, so here, he dies. It's whatever. You try and get this, and you miss it. So right here, you want to defensive aggro these two creeps back to meet this next wave. Because what's happening right now is, for what they did to kill Wyvern, they're missing these two creeps completely.
Yep.
And they're only going to be left with it's going to be this 2 versus 1 situation, and it's going to be another, like, if you can pull it apart, like pull these two creeps away from the other one, or at least pull it further up the lane, that's going to, like, benefit your lane equilibrium for the next, like, 2 minutes or a minute and a half or whatever.
So what's the, like, how does it work when these creeps are attacking the when they're attacking my creep? If I pull aggro, can I make them continue to follow me if I hit them, or will they go back to the lane creep?
It depends on what this lane creep does, because if you had hypothetically creep aggroed and they followed you a little bit, then your creep would have started following these creeps. And if one of these two heroes had walked into the lane at that point, the melee creep could have changed aggro, in which case these two would follow you. In some cases they won't, so then they'll just turn back around. Even if you hit it, like, yes, if you hit it once, if there was no melee creep for you and you defensive aggroed, well, they would keep following you in that situation if it wasn't there at all. Sometimes they want to, like, turn around, but if you hit them once, like, they won't. If this melee creep is, like, gone to do something else, like if it's gone to, like, hit the other creeps, right?
Okay.
And then if you
I'm not sure how that
them
mechanic
in that scenario,
works exactly,
they'll keep following you.
Okay.
But if they don't, like, you could have defensive aggroed it once and then potentially done it again, depending on, like, how hard the DP and Prophet were pressuring you. Like, you do it here and you drag them up to, like, here, right? And then if DP and Marcy are running at you, then you can, like, keep running away at that point. But if they, like, start to turn around or something, if they realize they're missing these creeps, then you can, like, after the 1.5 seconds that you have to wait before you defensive aggro, then you could do it again and, like, get it even closer to your tower. So you have to, like, kind of play it depending on what they do a little bit, but you could have defensive aggroed at least once there because you were already right next to the creep.
Yep.
All things considered, not too bad though. Putting a lot of pressure. Yeah, it's kind of a nasty combo. Is there anything done here?
It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I mean, Marcy's just busted. Really is. DP's a really strong layer too. Yeah, I don't think there's anything you could have done here. possibly having a wand maybe saves you, or it's almost like too early to have ring drops. It hasn't been that long. Like having like more items could have saved you. You're going this Band of Elven Skin. It's not even here yet, so yeah, it's honestly I can't blame you too much for this. Kind of a rough lane. I think maybe in hindsight, right, you defensive aggro, and then you just have to defensive aggro again. Instead of walking up for that creep there. You have to be playing like super careful. Just kind of ridiculous. I mean, this Marcy's just like casted a bajillion spells and like still is just continually casting more spells on you, so I don't blame you too much there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just need to be hyper aware that she can do that anytime.
Yeah, your skill build I might have varied just based on how hard this lane is. I might have gone third point and Conjure Image, just so I could like ditch if I need to, like ASAP. Like if you go like third point Conjure Image, fourth point Conjure Image, and like leave meta 1, then you can like bounce to the jungle if you really need to. You know what I mean? Because Conjure Image is what lets you do that.
Yeah, I should have probably just skilled for jungling.
Yeah, it depends on the lane, right? Like if you're doing okay in the lane, you can't like concretely decide, oh, this is definitely what I'm gonna do right when the lane starts. But like the lane's kind of going like this, and you're like, all right, this Marcy DP is like kind of nasty. Like I just want to get out of here. You can make that realization in the moment and like skill accordingly. But it's good to like know that that's how you'd want to do it. Like if that does happen, right? Like if you're like, okay, this lane sucks. Like I'm gonna go for more points in Conjure Image. Okay, so Marcy's not here. So I would be, at this point, like, if Marcy comes back, right, you're going to be, like, really scared. You agree?
Right.
So we're already kind of at this point. It's a little hard because you don't have any points in Conjure Image. But, like, I would be trying to shove this wave out and then, like, go, like, hit the small camp or something. Which sounds kind of ridiculous because it's 4 minutes into the game. But, like, this guy can't pressure you that effectively solo. So you like kind of do. Okay, now Marcy's here. Yeah, it would be nice to have at least 1 point in Conjure Image right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Because now you're just not doing anything, and it's like just hyper inefficient to like just be standing here doing nothing.
Probably just die again here if the Marcy's. Oh no, Marcy's mid.
Mid, yeah. Okay, so you just die solo to DP. Yeah, DP's, I don't know if you know this, but like she's got 3 points in Spirit Siphon, probably. She should. It's just how you play it. It's like 203 and you max Spirit Siphon. But it's just an insane amount of... It's 75 damage per second, and it heals him 75 damage per second. So like this early in the game, like Death Prophet at like his 3 and 5 spikes is like insanely powerful and hard to kill. Just so you know. Because that's just, this guy's like taking advantage of that. Also a raindrop might have been good, but... Doesn't save you from the Siphon, only saves you a little bit from his Crypt Swarm. But notice if you had been like shoving it in and then like going to jungle with Conjure Image, like that wouldn't have happened because you wouldn't have even been there, right? So
yeah, I think
like
just my concept of the lane could have just been like, okay, this is like extremely hard lane.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I don't know.
So now you're doing it, right? It just took you that extra death.
Is this Q even that good?
Death Prophet? No, it's not that good.
Terrorblade.
Oh, Terrorblade? I'm not a TV player. I think it's okay in, like, lanes where you're going to be able to pressure them a little bit.
Just, yeah, I don't know. It just, yeah, I don't know. It just seems kind of
I don't think it's bad.
It just seems like, man, just take the W and... Just taking the W and the E is like, seems like maybe just the better call, you know?
Most people, I'm pretty sure most people take, well, let me just check real quick, just so I don't...
I think they do take it. I think they do take the Q. Yeah. I was looking it up.
Oh, okay. For my own knowledge, let's see.
But I think, I mean, I could have just avoided the second point in the meta.
Almost everyone takes it at either 1 or 2. So, yeah. But yeah, the second point in meta really does not get you a whole lot, in my opinion. Unless you're
especially
like,
since it has such a big cooldown.
Yeah, unless you're like kind of hard owning your lane and you're doing that off the back of like metas. Yeah. Upgrade, I don't think. He's like running down. Yeah. I definitely wouldn't be trying to trade with this Marcy here, right? So this kind of goes back to like here. All the way back to here. You finish this camp, and it's like, what do you do, right? You want to have an idea of like what's going on in your own lane, so like checking it out. And like noting things like, oh, this Death Prophet's level 6. You know, this is very scary. And I don't really want to go back to this lane.
I should probably just given up on the lane.
Guy is. Yeah, exactly. So like farming away would have been correct here. So like it's not like hitting this small camp is like that bad. But like you kind of force yourself into this situation where you started farming towards your tower again. And then you kind of just get caught up doing this stuff, which is like not important, right? It would have been way nicer if you just been like hitting creeps over here right now, not being bothered.
Yeah, like you don't want to leave your lane typically, but this is one of the scenarios where it probably definitely makes sense, right? Because I'm a hero that farms jungle well.
Yeah, well,
and
so the default,
it's really hard lane.
The default is you don't want to leave your lane, but like sometimes you have to, and then you have to recognize like when like there's two different variations of leaving their lane, or of leaving your lane. There's the first one is I'm leaving this lane, but like if they shove it under my tower, I can like come back and clean it up, and I'm not worried about them diving me, right?
Yep.
And then the second variation is like I'm leaving this lane, and I cannot come back because they will dive me if I show back up here, and I'm just gonna feed. And there's nothing anyone on my team can do to stop it, right? So
I think this is the second variation.
This
right?
is the second variation. Yeah, there's Death Prophet, who's level 6, definitely the second variation. You know, if you're against like, I don't know, like some offlaner who's not great at diving. If you're against like a Veno or something, or like even like a Tide, right? Like they're not really gonna dive you under the tower for the most part, or like a Sand King. But you know, if you're against like the Death Prophets, or like the like an Axe might dive you, or like a Timber Saw is definitely gonna dive you, right? So you just have to kind of think about it. Be like, can I come back to this lane at all? And let that guy do decision making.
Relatively high last hits.
Your last hits are decently high considering you've died 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, just comparatively speaking to the rest of the game.
Yeah. I would not be going Falcon Blade here, I don't think. Falcon Blade is like good. I think Falcon Blade is only good if you're like continuing to lane. Maybe you just go.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a problem with me not. I mean, so yeah, like that's probably a byproduct of me not playing this hero much lately. But like, so I've been playing a bunch of Spectre lately, and I definitely need it on Spectre because she's so mana hungry for the Q, for her dagger, right?
Yeah.
But and that gives you the mana regen, and it gives you health, which she really wants health too. But for Terrorblade, I don't think he has mana issues really.
Not really. So
So yeah, this was just like my team was. We were kind of talking about trying to go for the tower, and I guess I just kind of tried to force it, even though I couldn't see people on the map.
Right. Well, so we're seeing Jakiro DP. We saw Ember Marcy mid, but now we haven't seen them. Now we still haven't seen them. Yeah. So I think it just stayed a little bit long. It was like a decent idea, and then we just lost track of like where their whole team was. Like they stopped showing. So if that's the case, then you just want to like, even if they're not coming to kill you, you have to like assume they're coming to kill you, right?
Yeah, that's one of the things that I've kind of noticed in my games is like, you know, since I'm in pretty low MMR, like a lot of the times people just don't show up, right? And it's just like, but that doesn't mean that like it's like no matter what, like you just have to do the right thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you can't like rely on them not showing up. You just have to assume that they will.
Yeah. I mean, especially in like a competitive game like this, you definitely want to, even if it's not super high MMR, like people will respond more to objectives than they would in a pub, and they'll do it in a more coordinated way.
Yep.
So definitely just giving them that respect. And if they don't gank you, you know, so be it. Like if you're, as long as you're continuing to farm, it's not the end of the world if you like give up a little bit of pressure. And you could have like backed off and farmed the big camp, right? And then if they suddenly like showed in a different lane, you can like resume your pressure, depending.
Right.
So you can like respect them and back off. But then if you see something that tells you that you don't have to be afraid anymore, you can like go back.
Only the wary. Radiant's middle tower.
I would definitely be sending my illusion that I summon to the lane after you kill this.
Yeah.
And like summoning them off cooldown.
Is under attack.
So like here, send this one to the lane, and then summon another one. And honestly, if it were me, I'd send it to the lane as well, because the first one's gonna expire. And I would just shove this lane out with my illusions. That's super important to do as Terrorblade.
Only the wary. Radiant's middle
Yeah,
tower is under
yeah, it's actually really bad that you didn't do that. Because like, as a carry, part of your job when you're farming is like you're not showing up to fights for the most part. So what you can do without showing up to fights is apply pressure on the map, which is like getting the lane shoved in. So this is just like lane pressure that you gave up for no reason.
Dire's top tower.
That was like was totally in your capabilities to do. So you're like walking mid to join your team. Yeah, and this is kind of awkward. I don't know how this goes, but like because your Pudge isn't here because he's cleaning up this lane that like you could have had pushed in, right? If your Pudge was here, this would feel like really easy. But instead your Pudge isn't here, and it's like kind of weird.
Radiant's middle tower has
You guys
fought
get it.
Dire's top tower
It's like okay.
is under attack.
So here I ended up getting a bit upset at my team for the stacking the ancients like that. I don't know if I'm just like playing it wrong, but it seems really hard for me to take those ancients.
It is like I think for the most part when Terrorblades typically rotate to their ancients, they have either like a Yasha or a Dragonlance. So I don't think the items you have really enable you to do that. But like for the most, usually you can.
Is under attack.
That's another reason why I'm a huge fan of this Falcon Blade. Is like you're kind of just AFK farming now, and this Falcon Blade, like the HP and the damage isn't that important, and it just kind of slows down the rest of your item progression. And like an item that you would need to have to like farm ancients.
Dire's middle tower
Definitely be using your Conjure Image off cooldown more. It's really important to be using it like off cooldown.
we slip into shadow.
Would you say like if you're losing, is it more important to go for the main core items versus like when you're winning you can afford to go more like small build-up items? Does that make any sense? Or
Yeah. As a carry, you'd want to think about it as like, I mean, small build-up items usually help you lane, and they help let you like continue playing the lane and doing well in the lane. So like if you've left the lane already, small build-up items usually don't usually help you farm very efficiently. Like as a Terrorblade, right? A Yasha or a Dragonlance are like really efficient farm speed items. Like a Falcon Blade is not a particularly efficient farm speed item. It's okay, in terms of like the mana and the Conjure Images, but yeah. So if you're like getting booted out of lane super early, that's usually why you'll see people like go for Midas, just because it's like screw like lane, right? You already lost the lane or whatever, right? It's just time to recover and like get towards your core item progression. So here again, you TP'd here, but you left your illusion here. It's really important to go push the lanes out with these illusions. Like just cannot overemphasize how important that is. And here you should conjure another illusion and send it down mid. It's like the main thing you can do to help your team out. Because like when you're pushing out the lanes, it forces them to react to what you're doing. And you can do it with illusions, so you can do it safely. And if you're forcing them to react to clean up their lanes without even being there, then they're going to have to split up. And you're like forcing them to like split up and not be able to like do the plays they want to do, right? Or do it with as many people. And like you can do that as Terrorblade without even being there, right? Just with your illusions.
Yep.
So that's a huge part of like how Terrorblade like makes space for himself. I don't like this at all because you've got a huge wave coming in bottom. You definitely want to be like aware of like where your next farm is right here. Yeah, these bugs are so annoying. But like here, it's a huge wave here that you should be farming.
There was a certain point though that I was a little wary of the Ember because I think he had a Maelstrom, and I think I was a little concerned. I was having issues, like in the game. It was definitely in my mind of like I'm having a hard time playing bottom because the Ember was split pushing down there.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I wouldn't be too afraid. That's just me. You know, if you're afraid of this guy diving you, you know, so be it. But I don't. I think you have to like go for it anyways. It's like too much farm. Like
I
really,
mean, he's probably gonna like
really
deal
big
some
in this
damage to
lane.
me, but probably won't kill me, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have Sunder. I mean, maybe he does outplay you. Maybe that's what happens. But like, this is like 8, 9 creeps with a catapult. Plus, if you come down here, it'll be like another wave coming fairly shortly. Like, there's another wave right here too. That by the time you get down here and kill this, will be here. So like, this is like basically like 11 or 12 creeps of farm if you come over here right now.
Yeah, it's pretty huge, and this is like 0 farm because I
Yeah.
can't kill it.
Yeah, because you just don't have the farming item to do it. So you missed like 3 of these creeps or something, maybe 4, and you like kind of burned meta and you like would rather have not. Want to make sure you're microing your illusion. Like some of your illusions just sitting back there. So yeah, your illusion micro is not particularly great. I don't blame you too much. I mean, you're not super high MMR. Okay, that's interesting.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
We're hanging around.
I mean, I don't even need to be microing it very much. I just need to control it.
Yeah, here again,
It's
I
an
mean,
entire lane, right?
I'm a broken record, but please send this illusion down the lane and summon another one, and just send them both down the lane. You're
Yes.
yeah.
So I usually do that more. Like, I'm definitely aware that you can do that, and I agree with you 100%. That would have been better. I'm just trying to understand like why I wasn't doing that, and like because like if I was like playing like Jug, you know, or Luna, and I had a Manta,
Under attack.
I know I usually send him down the lane. I think I was thinking more that I had to keep him with me to even farm the camps, but yeah, I think that was just kind of what was going through my head. But it would have been better to send him down the lane because it looks like we're not like casting him enough either off of cooldown. If I casted him off cooldown, I probably would have had like an extra one when I got to the jungle camp, right? And it could jungle with me, so I could do both.
Yeah, exactly.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Because basically, like this game is like we have a better late game in theory, or you know, I'm a better late game hero
Right.
than an early game. So if I can just keep the waves like hard shoved all the time, then that's going to prolong the game, right?
Exactly. Yeah, unfortunately their Emperor is pretty scary.
Dire's middle
Yeah, like earlier on, he probably wouldn't have killed me, but I think as the game progressively went on, I was more concerned about him.
Yeah, well, and he's just like sitting down here, which is kind of interesting. Usually they like go do something else at some point, but this guy's just like camping.
Yeah, this wasn't this was
has been
something that I wasn't really used to in my games. Usually I'm just able to farm down here,
Dire's top tower.
but
Yeah, even here, like summon another illusion and like send it down to the wave and like give it some, you know, dedicate some attention and like go like micro the illusions and like have them go hit the creeps, right? Like you don't attack move them on Ember, right? But if you're sending 2 illusions right here as this Ember is running forward, you're gonna like clear this wave with 2 illusions.
yeah,
So like even if Ember's there, that doesn't prevent your ability to like, actually put on like real pressure to the other team.
right.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Fight. Seems like they're just really far ahead here. I mean, they are. Prior to this fight, this is like kind of a hard fight to show up to. But like, here's the thing: it's like you shouldn't show up to this fight because you're not like hitting an item timing.
Right.
you know, it's kind of unfortunate that your team like got into this fight up here. You guys doesn't seem like you have a lot of options. Like I've been focusing pretty heavily on you and not what your team's doing, but like, you know, you kind of want to. Your goal should be like, hey, like I'm gonna hit like whatever item I'm going for this Manta timing, right? I'm gonna hit this Manta timing, and then I want to like group up with my team with meta up and like take a fight, right? While I'm stronger. It's like you showing up with a Yasha is like not. You just don't have a lot of impact, you know?
Right.
Do you want to keep watching this game? Seems like you guys are way far behind. Is there any other moments that you think maybe you guys had a chance?
Probably not. I think I probably got the gist of it. I mean, I think that there's just some. I think the later part of the game is. So there's one issue that I have that is it seems kind of simple probably when I describe it, which is just kind of like, well, just don't do that is the answer, you know. But sometimes I just kind of like when I'm playing carry, I'll just walk into a team fight and then just like get stunned and die, you know. So I don't know. There's probably not really much to say about it other than just like don't do that. But I mean, I guess on heroes like Terrorblade. So heroes like Terrorblade and Luna, and probably like even Drow. I don't really play Drow, but you can probably have like you need to be a little more careful about your positioning, I suppose, right?
Yeah, it's part positioning and it's part like patience when you're looking to like enter the fight and making sure your team is like started the fight and gone in before you're like
right here. Right, I'm just like, oh, yeah, just walked in and died, you know.
Okay, let's take a look. So you TP back. We're meted. Let me see here. Well, one, you're standing in Jakiro's macro pyre. You're like not watching your own hero, so you're like, just taking a bunch of free damage here. So there's like a little bit of an awareness thing. You seem a little tunnel visioned, and then you just get ice path from the macro pyre. I mean, you just took like 800 macro pyre damage and got ice path once. So yeah, it seems like maybe you're just a little tunnel visiony. Because your team had definitely started the engagement, and I didn't kind of mind what you were doing, but if you just like walked not in the macro pyre and like summoned some illusions and started hitting whoever was closest to you, because that's kind of like how Terrorblade or Drow play. Like they don't like it's not your job to go like hit whoever's in the back, right? Like you're just hitting whoever's closest to you. I mean, you're like as far away.
Right.
You have to like you want to be your full attack range away from the closest person to you and be hitting that person and want them to like die, right?
Right. Yeah, I think maybe. I mean, yeah, and having the Dragon Lance would help a little bit with that too.
Yeah, having Dragon Lance always helps, which is why people almost always get it on Terrorblade. The only reason people skip Dragon Lance on Terrorblade is like, you know, you're against like 5 melee heroes, right? And it's like you're gonna be, if you're like ranged and like they have nothing to threaten you, like when you're like your range, right? Even then, it's still not bad because then they have to walk like further. It's like, I mean, if I look on Dota 2 Pro Tracker, say like 60%, maybe 70% of people get Dragon Lance on TB. If I was you, I mean, you could just like never skip it, you know. Some people do get Falcon Blades. Some people get both, Falcon Blade and Dragon Lance. Some people only get one. So looks like there's a little bit of variability in terms of what the top level guys are doing. But yeah, like for a game like this where they have like a DP who you want to stay away from and like a Jug who you want to hit from like further away, you want like that spacing. Dragon Lance is always good. For sure. But yeah, the problem there, right, was like we weren't paying enough attention to like our hero and like our positioning and what was happening. It was just a little too tunnel visiony. And that can happen when, you know, I don't know how many hours you have in the game. But It does require some discipline to like be more careful when you're approaching fights. You know, like analyze like what's going on, what do I need to do, am I standing in a macro fire, etc.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think like maybe part of it too is like when you're losing, and when you're losing like this, I think that I want to say I might get a little more tunnel visioned because I'm like a little bit tilted, I guess I just feel like a little overwhelmed because it's like, I go to my triangle, can't clear the ancients. I'm like, fuck, what do I do? And I can try and push bottom. There's an Ember Spirit there that's like gonna kill me. Like shit, like it's just like start to get a little overwhelmed by the game, and it becomes difficult for me to think about like how to play it.
Yeah, for sure. I get that. Dota's a hard game to play even when you're at your mental peak, So if you're, thrown out of your focus for whatever reason or things aren't going your way and get a little tilted, even if you're not like raging, right? That can just be difficult. Do you want to wrap it up here? This game?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think mainly just kind of itemization, skilling, recognizing the situation in the lane, and especially like that first wave, like really making sure that I'm hyper focused on that, sending, pushing the waves as much as possible.
Yeah, sending those illusions down waves. I mean, if you're doing that consistently, I didn't see you do it almost at all this game. Like it's kind of weird, but you basically just weren't doing it at all.
Yeah.
As a Terrorblade.
Yeah.
So, if you can just get doing that, I mean, that's you kind of need. It's like one of those things where you kind of like just need to be doing it to like. Dope. Looks like they're.
Yeah, we ended up having like it started feeling like possible the game a little bit like at this point,
Comeback,
yeah, we started having a little bit of comebacks, but
it happens. It happens. Well, we can keep watching a little bit if you want. Fine with that.
Let's just go to the next one.
Okay.
I feel like it's kind of like you get to a point of diminishing returns,
Yeah,
and
might just be more of the same. Not sending illusions down lane.
Yeah.
All right, you send me the second replay. What is happening?
This was the Luna.
Okay, 1 second. Alright. Let's check out game 2. So we were probably against Enigma Tiny or Enigma Marcy. Probably Enigma Marcy, given they ran the... We've got a Snap Pause 5? Silencer Pause 5?
Yeah. Enigma, Marcy, I'm pretty sure. And then yeah, Silencer is my P5.
What do you think about that lane?
Well, there's Marcy, of course. Marcy's pretty much. I have a hard time playing against her in lane. I've noticed that I like consistently get. If I had to pick one hero that I get crushed by in lane, it's Marcy. And then the Enigma. He can do a lot of damage with his Eidolons. It seems like a pretty. It seems favored in there to them still.
in terms of like what are they like? So they're gonna be summoning Eidolons, right? And the lane's gonna be for the most part pulled back. There's not gonna be a whole lot you guys can do about it. Maybe you guys can get the occasional small camp pull off. You know, it might come like back and forth, but for the most part, they're gonna have a
deny
lane
the range
equilibrium
creep every
advantage.
time.
Exactly. So, plus they have the Marcy, which gives him decent aggressive potential. I don't
So
know.
he can deny his own range creep, which he just did, right?
Yeah.
It's always going to push him. Well, yeah, so there you go. I mean, pretty much it's just bad because it's the same problem. Like, I don't want to play in a pushed out lane against a Marcy.
Right. Enigma is a hero where if he has Eidolons, like Eidolons are scary because these things hit for like 20 each, and there's 3 of them, and then sometimes there's 6 of them, right? It's a lot of damage. But if he doesn't have Eidolons, he's not that scary. And you've got a silencer, so your guys' strength is like kind of like poking a little bit and like right click harass. And I would think that this is a lane where you could kind of look to leave it earlier, or like basically the Enigma's gonna have the choice. If he wants, like at some point, he'll probably be able to keep it static like outside of his tower forever, right? And they're gonna have a Marcy, so you're not gonna want to be there. So recognizing like you can recognize now that at some point this lane is not gonna be fun for you, and like you're gonna want to be jungling. So like thinking about that in terms of like what we can do to like mitigate. So like I don't really like this Lucent Beam unless you're using it specifically to secure last hits.
Well, no, that's definitely. I definitely always don't know like whether I should go. I mean, I know for sure that like the reason I get my skill point is definitely to get the last hits. That's always what I'm thinking. But on her, it's kind of like both of them, the Q and the E, theoretically could help you with the last hit. You know what I mean? So it seems like a kind of a toss-up between the Q and the E for me.
Yeah, usually you take your Q if like you need to just be further away, like if they're going to threaten you. And if they're not going to threaten you, then Lunar Blessing is a little bit better because then it gives you the aura to your ally as well. You can potentially apply pressure earlier. Okay, so you're looking to pull. Your silencer's like zoning the Marcy or whatever. Oh, that's unfortunate. Didn't get it off. Defensive aggro is not bad. Yeah, I would just like you to be using your Q a little bit more here. Like, if you watch, like, a good high-level Luna, like, they'll be throwing out Qs. It's, like, it's only 90 mana. I mean, you're full mana, right?
For last hits.
Yeah, or even just, like, harass, you know? Like, that Marcy. Right. Like, beam him and hit him once, right? Like, get him to, like, fuck off. Yeah, like, here. Like, that was good. That was a good beam. This guy's, like, feeding us Eidolons. Nice of him. Yeah, because if you're, like, beaming him again, like, here, if you just follow this guy and keep hitting him, oh my god, this replay bug is so annoying. But if you just, like, if you hit this guy, like, 3 times, right? If you beam him again right now, and then keep hitting him, like, you're running away. But this guy has no HP. Yep. And his Eidolons are over here, not hitting you. So this is, like, an opportunity in this lane where you could, like, be really aggressive. Like, you could almost kill this guy. Like, high-level Lunas would run this guy down and try and kill him.
Yep.
And make him go all the way back under his tower if he doesn't die.
Done him out.
Yeah. Because there's just nothing you could have done about it. And you're like, you know. So look for those opportunities for sure. Even in hard lanes, like, there will be opportunities where their force not there. You know, their spells are off cooldown. They're out of position. So...
yeah,
you want to look for those opportunities, and you know now.
Same thing.
This is normal. So I'd be defensive aggroing a bit here. Yeah, don't put yourself in Eidolon range, right? Defensive aggro backwards so you're further back and less at threat. Because here you just kind of didn't defensive aggro and put yourself in a bad position and then just died. And yeah, you really should not be completing this Wraith Band in lanes where it's like you're struggling. Like Wraith Band is a trading item that says I want to be stronger and like contest this lane, and that's gonna like go well for me if I do it. And right, you're not in a position where contesting this lane is like gonna go that well for you. So it's just like a waste of gold that could be going towards like the items that let you like bounce.
Yep. Okay.
So we've got a Wraith Band. Just like, okay, this is gonna like get us towards shreds. Help us secure some CS a little bit. Okay, silencer pulled. We're getting some free CS under tower. That's nice. Marcy's mid. Silencer's cleaning up. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just like some indecisiveness, I guess? I'm a little confused about what you're doing here. My reaction would be to like beam and then like kind of kite out because he's got Eidolons up. You're like kind of like running sideways and not away from him? I don't know, maybe you're panicking. Do you know what you were doing there? Obviously it doesn't look good. I'm not trying to like say that, oh, like you definitely were like playing like that because you thought it was good or something, but I'm just a little confused by like what you were doing there.
I think I was probably trying to creep aggro, but maybe I was too far away and it wasn't going off.
Oh, gotcha.
And then I also, I don't think, was really like aware of how much, like I didn't really realize how much those things would screw me.
Yeah, Eidolons do a ton of damage, man. A ton of damage. It's actually nuts.
Like in my, in my games, like, because I'm like in Guardian bracket, right?
Yeah.
And like in my games, like if I have an Enigma in lane, they're just horrible. They don't know anything. They don't play their Eidolons. So I guess, yeah, it really just wasn't used to that.
Yeah. So now you know. And also the second point in beam is really bad, man. Really bad, because you don't want to be here. Like, you don't want to be laning against this Enigma and Eidolons and Marcy.
Yeah.
And this ability does not help you jungle. This is just the biggest noob trap ever to like put more points in beam. I wasn't even I could have seen you going 0-4-4 this game because like if you want to take 1 point in beam at level 1, sure, but like you don't need it. And you really, really don't want 2 points in beam because you really don't want to be here longer than you need to. Yeah, I mean you're like in a position where you can't lane, but then you haven't given yourself the tools you need to like go jungle either. So you definitely need to consider, like, when am I going to want to leave this lane? And, like, in some cases, like, if you're not sure, like, usually if you're not sure, like, it's probably because, like, you don't know how badly, like, they're going to beat you, right? But you can just, like, default to be like, oh, I probably need to leave it sooner rather than later, and itemize and skill accordingly. Because these situations where you're, like, jungling really inefficiently like this, it's just, you'll just... If you can just be jungling faster here and have left to jungle earlier and had better skill points to do it and not have this Wraith Band, right? Gotten earlier treads to help you out as well. Like, your life will just be better. Like, it's okay to get kicked out of your lane if you're going to jungle really efficiently. Like, that's totally okay. It happens to good carries all the time. But the difference is they know they're going to be kicked out of lane. They itemize and skill accordingly. And then once they transition out, even if it's super early, they're, like, still hyper efficient in the jungle. It's this like wishy-washy stuff with the Lucent Beam and the Wraith Band that like makes recovering so hard for low MMR players. Like, recovering's not that hard, but it's really hard if you like don't give yourselves the tools to do it.
Right. So yeah, I mean both games I could have just gone like full jungle builds. Like this game I could be like maybe one. So one thing I've seen for Lunas is that they max E and only take 1 point in. Okay, so that I guess that's one thing that I'm not sure about with Luna is, let's say I want to go full jungle builds. I think you still prioritize the E over the W, right?
I mean, you could be like 0-2-3 if that's what you mean.
Right. Yeah.
Or like
That's what
1,
I mean. Yeah.
2-3. Yeah, I would go like I would go like, either 0 or 1 points in Lucent Beam, and then like always put the next point in Lunar Blessing before Moonglaves, right? So if you're like 1 point in Moonglaves, 2 points in Lunar Blessing, go back for the second point in Moonglaves, then go back for the third point in Lunar Blessing, then go back for the third point in Moonglaves, then go back for the fourth point in Lunar Blessing. Getting up to 5 bounces on Moonglaves is pretty good. The last point isn't like super important unless you have like stacks. So that's what you'd want that to look like for the most part.
Yeah, I think in my pubs I haven't really been having such a hard time in the lane as these games here. So But it kind of comes back to that same point about like I can't play as if the teams they're gonna be bad. You know, I have to.
Well, yeah, it's what you get away with at Guardian is not going to be what you get away with in like competitive Dota, where the average MMR is like, Archon or Legend, right?
Right.
Or Crusader Archon. I don't know what the average MMR of this league is, but
Probably like Archonish.
yeah. So I mean, if you as carry go, if you by default go like a jungle build, in like every game you're in, if you're like one of those heroes that ditches lane and goes to jungle, so like I don't know your whole pool, but like, we're talking about Medusa, we're talking about Luna, Drow, TB, PL, all these heroes. Lane gets hard, they want to go jungle.
But you're
right?
just always gonna. It's just gonna be better going the jungle build. Like
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and I guess the nice thing about Jug is like the jungle build is the same thing as like the lane build, kind of, right? Like because you just max Q.
Yeah, in that case, it's not too difficult to figure out.
Yeah.
This is bad. No, you should definitely be getting the second point in Moonglaves here. The fourth point in Lunar Blessing is not that much extra damage, and the extra bounce is like really important on Moonglaves.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, this is not a thing. It's funny actually, but yeah, don't do
So
that.
try and keep them evened out.
Yeah.
But you can favor the E slightly more.
Yeah. I mean, just notice like. Let's just watch you clear a creep camp, right? And we'll think about like having more bounces. Like you're just barely bouncing at all, like this.
Yeah.
And like so if you think about it this way, like the damage bonus like goes from 6 to 14, so it more than doubles. Right? The second point in Lunar Blessing is like super value. And then it goes from 14 to 20, which is
right.
6 more. And 6 more after 14 is like a 40% increase or something, right?
Right.
So it goes from like a 110% increase in damage to like a 40-something to the
like
third
diminishing
point.
returns
Yeah,
on
and
it.
8 more damage on the fourth point. It's like not that good, right? And
the glaives are just
the extra bounces on
huge.
the glaives just it matters a lot. I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but it will be faster for sure. Yeah, it's just really slow. Normally a small camp only takes like a couple right clicks, and because you don't have points in glaives, it's taking you like 5 or 6 extra hits. Maybe not 5 or 6, but like that camp definitely took you like 5 extra hits if you had been even ignoring the point in Lucid Beam, if you just had like 2 points in Moonglaves instead of Lunar Blessing, it probably would have taken you like 3 or 4 like less hits to complete. It's really important to have the glaives. Alright, so we're going Mask of Madness. I don't like this TP. I see why you made it. Right? Enigma's here. But their Tiny's mid, and we don't see anybody else on their team. Their Undying's dead. So it's like, how afraid are you right now? Like, if you're somewhat afraid, that's okay. But I wouldn't want you to, like... We don't know, like, if Marcy is, like, coming to gank us or not. She might not be. Right? So, like, we TP, but, like, we could have been farming, like, this camp over here, right? And then, if we'd still been afraid...
in the jungle. Because this part of the game, right? I want to be in the jungle because there's so many more camps for me to clear.
Exactly.
This is just, like... I only have these 2 camps, and they're the Ancients, which are kind of hard for me.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you did just dodge a gank? Let's just see, just so we know. So yeah, I mean, the Marcy was, like, down here, but they're not, like, hunting you. And, like, Tiny is, like, a big hero that kills you. Like, this Marcy can't solo kill you if she finds you. Like, if you know Enigma's back by his tower and you know the Tiny's mid, even if you don't know where the Marcy is, like, she can't really solo kill you. Well, maybe she can. Marcy's, like, kind of a busted support hero right now. Orbit Corrosion, he doesn't even have his ult, that's funny. But for the most part, you're not going to die solo, because you can't rebound off anything. So...
Right. I'll be able to run away.
Yeah, because what happens is if, like, you make this TP, like, what if Marcy and Tiny, like, what if Tiny cleared mid and Marcy had been, like, here, and then they smoke and they, like, run over here, right? and then they're like interface. Because we didn't know where the Marcy was, so it's possible that this TP could have griefed you, because you could have TP'd straight into where they might have been going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
You just don't know.
So basically, yeah, I want to play away from them, but I didn't know for sure that where I was going was going to be away from them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Alright, so our whole team's dying. It's weird. Okay, we're pushing on the lanes. Good. Finally got some points in Glaives. Here we go.
I feel like such a noob in these games. It's just like get beat so bad.
Hitting this tower is very dangerous. Alright, you only did it a little bit. It's really, really dangerous to towers on Luna. I just wouldn't do it.
Well, okay. I was aware that I didn't really want to sit there, but I guess I was trying to force a reaction.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Just let the creeps do it for you, just because you're so liable to die.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice. Barely got away. That's pretty good. They have some crazy
That also doesn't happen
deep
in my
vision.
games that much. Okay, so this wasn't this is a very interesting part of the game for me. This is totally, I do not have this happen in my games at all. So my team's all top, and the enemy's all mid. Like they're on our side of the map, or at least, I mean, I don't know that they're all there, but I've seen a couple people there, right?
Yeah.
So this is not a situation I'm really used to, and I found it kind of awkward because it's now where do I farm?
Right. So option
Like,
one is like you
yeah.
can join your team and fight with them, and it depends.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, it seems like the best thing for me to do right now is to go up to my team.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say it depends on the hero you are. Sometimes you don't want to do that, but that's always an option, right? But
Yeah.
maybe you're a TB with no meta. Maybe maybe you're just not ready. Sometimes. Let's go back a little bit, because what happens here is so you're farming here. So this is a situation where you want to be afraid, and then you see the Undying, and you get away. So here, I think actually your mistake is like running back towards your mid tower. So your team is top. You see the Marcy too. You see the Marcy and the Undying, and you have a TP up. This is very important that you have a TP up. So what you need to do here, and your team's like gonna like kill this Clinks, which is like awesome. What you need to do here is you need to give yourself the most options. The most options right now is actually running back down this lane. Not necessarily showing in it. Like, it's going to depend on what they do. But, like, you have to make them put in a lot of effort right now to kick you out of here. What you can't do, or what you shouldn't do, is exactly what you did, which is corral yourself. Like, you see them.
Right.
You see them, and then you go to the part of the map that gives you the least options. Because now you're here. Like, feasibly, this is like kind of insane, because if they have a ward here, they like see you doing this,
right?
And then you just die. So it's kind of insane that you're farming this in the first place. But like now, we have no options, right? Running back bottom feels really awkward. They might have vision, but if you were already here, and like you had seen like a glimpse of them, like anywhere over here, right? You could just be waiting in the. If you hadn't, you could just be waiting in the trees. And if you had seen them, then you're free to come farm this, and you can farm like a wave, and then if you like think they're gonna come kill you, then you can TP out, right?
Yeah.
And if they show 4 top and they're like fighting your team, then like then you can do whatever you want. You can take this, you can take their ancients, right? You can do whatever you want at that point. But you've kind of effectively corralled yourself here.
Yeah, I need to get used to like not always running back towards the base when I feel threatened.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like, this Undying saw you, right? But if you would like run down here and then he stopped seeing you and then you would run this way, like he would have had no idea that you like ran back out on the map.
Yeah.
And that would have given you a lot of options.
Okay.
Because yeah, what happens here, this happens in like I play in RD2L, a kind of amateur league too. My carry does what you do, and he gets ganked here. They just dive him under his tower, and then he dies. Right? He's playing like Sniper, Medusa, Luna, whatever. He dies in this exact scenario. Because they're tiny, he's got a blink, and he's hanging out here, and then Marcy's hanging out here, and the Undying walks in Tombstones. You just die. Right? They
Yeah, it
just dive
definitely
you,
seemed like it was like
your whole team's up here, and then you just die. And you're like, how does this happen? Like, right? How are we like chasing their carry away, and then my carry's dying on the tier 2? And that's how it happens. The carry like kind of corralled themselves, and then tried to soak up this like dangerous farm, and then the other team's just like, yeah, we're just gonna kill you for doing that.
I guess that's going to be the thing about these coordinated games, right? Is I can expect a lot more shenanigans of people trying to kill me.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what is throwing me off a lot. Yeah, I think that's going to be a huge thing. Is like in my games they don't do this, right? But in these games they're like, it seems like all they're trying to do is like just totally screw me over in the lane and then totally like just hunt me, you know?
Yeah, this is something that like in Guardian games, like the map just doesn't look like this. But like in higher MMR games, the map looks like this all the time. Like if you're the carry, this is what it looks like all the time for you, and you have to figure out when they're trying to kill you, and you have to base it off the information you see, and it's really hard. You know, you're like, is this creep wave safe? You know, I haven't seen them in a long time. I don't know where their tiny is. I don't know where their like Clinks is. Right? Marcy just showed on a ward, and unfortunately, this tiny was like here ready to kill you. Right? And
yeah, I just need to be a lot more aware that they're gonna be trying to like gank me in these types of games.
Yeah. Let's go back a little bit. Let's kind of see what goes wrong here. So your team is like generally pressuring here. Yeah, I think what I would do here is I would run all the way down here, but then be very careful about it. And like while I'm running down here, right, I'm looking at the map. Because my team has great vision here, great vision. So what I want to happen is I want my team to like take some crazy fight up here, right? That's what I want to happen. And if that doesn't happen and like they're not showing anybody, you just can't farm anywhere. Like it's that simple. Like maybe you just wait for these ancients to respawn, or like I said, I would be down here, and if like hopefully they show, because I would want to farm this wave if it's like under my tower, right? Or like tell your team at that point, right? Tell your team if you're gonna like farm this creep wave under the tower, right? You like stand in these trees and like farm it, and tell your team like, hey, they might dive me right now. Like if they dive, please respond. And then your team like wipes them, right? Because they dive your tier 2 and then your team TPs in and like kills them all, right?
Right.
You could like set up plays like that.
Oh yeah, so in this situation, like there are some times where I need to be like, I can't do anything.
Sometimes it's carry, you just can't do anything, and it's best to like wait until you have information. And you'll see that in high MMR games. Sometimes the carry will like literally not hit creeps for like 30 seconds and will like stand in some trees. And it's because he's just waiting to see where the enemy is because they're not showing. Okay, so we're respawning, we're running mid. Big fight happened top. Open up the map a little bit for us here. Unfortunately, bottom's pushing in. Team's dealing with that. Where are you gonna go after this camp? Where do you think you should go after this camp?
Probably bottom.
I don't think so. Putting yourself bottom is dangerous, right? They could have a bunch of vision down here. They could be like.
Yeah, I guess that's the problem. I'm not used to this. This situation is just I mean, in my games, my team never plays top.
Right.
It's weird. I don't understand it. It's just like I'm the only one playing top the whole game. They're all down bottom.
Right.
So because I'm so used to just playing top, right? And here my team's top. I mean, I guess obviously, I guess I can go top.
Your position 5.
I mean, I guess I can just. Yeah, I guess I should have just gone top because we have so much vision there. I can just play up as far as I can play up as far as I want, basically.
Yeah, and there's camps here, right?
Yeah.
Camp here. There's a camp here. There's gonna be a wave. You have vision. Maybe you can farm one of these camps. Maybe you don't. Right? Depends on what you see. But yeah, you should definitely be going top here because your silencer is not gonna be farming it. Your snap doesn't need to farm it. You're the one that needs farm. You have 30 seconds until the ancients respawn. That you need to like find some creeps to hit. And top is like to me the only like viable option. Like TPing bottom here would be like a huge grief. Doesn't look like you're doing that. So you're kind of just like waiting to do nothing, right? So yeah, I should have gone top here for sure. Do you watch any like BSJ coaching?
Yeah, I'm super familiar with.
Okay, so yeah, he like talks about like playing on the minute, which is like kind of advanced.
Yeah,
it's very advanced for somebody in Guardian, right? But what would happen here, just to like lay this out for you, so you can see it in your own game, is you clear this camp at 1840, and then you run here and you clear this, and then maybe you have time to like clear or stack this small camp before it's like 19 minutes, and then it's 19 minutes, and you clear this creep wave, and then you clear this next creep wave, which is here right now. We can't see it because the replay is bugged. But you clear this wave. This one would be like over here, or they would all be like over here, right? We like kill them all, and it's like 19, like 10 or whatever, and then we farm the small camp again, and then we farm the big camp again, and then we come back to our ancients, and then it's like 20 minutes. And then,
he talks about you want to be up as far as possible when the minute starts, because if they run at you, then you can always go backwards. But,
yeah, and this is how you be really efficient on carry, and this is what high armor players do, right? They look for the next camps to farm, and like they think about like what's going to be available in the time it's left, and then when the camps respawn, and then like where they're going to go like after the camps respawn. There's a lot to think about, especially when you're trying to dodge like ganks, right? You're trying to dodge the other team like who's trying to kill you, and you also have to be thinking about like when the camps are respawning and like where's safe to go. But just wanted you to see that kind of example.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why my team being up there made me think that I couldn't go up there. I mean,
yeah. Well, it matters,
totally
right?
up to me to say like, hey, like this is my farm. Like, that's the whole point of.
Well, it matters, right? So say your DP was the one that was up here, and your silencer was the one that was mid, right? Do you want to like run up and take like your other core's farm, you know, or not take, but like right? DP if this was DP up here and DP farmed this, right? You could be a little more hesitant about like running straight at him because like he could potentially be farming that area. And then maybe you like can go like farm a different direction. Although in this case it was like really dangerous anyways.
Yeah.
But so it depends on who's there, right? If it's your position 5, you should definitely be like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go up there and take it. And if it's another core, then you can like be like, well, maybe I should let that core farm it, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, this is tough. They've got a pretty good lead. We don't really have an item again. And this is why we would have wanted to be top, right? This is a fight that we want the ability to TP to if it looks decent. And if it doesn't look decent, we don't want to fucking be here. You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why you don't really want to be lingering around mid anyways. Carries a lot of times are splitting the side lanes and looking at TP back. Granted, you were like somewhat close by when it sort of started, but you like lost a hero to start. Yeah, you guys kind of just like chain fed off the silencer, like dying first. Just a tip for your competitive team. If somebody dies to start the fight, like for free on your team, don't oblige the other team and continue to take the fight if you have the ability to like just leave.
Yeah.
Your silencer died, and you're all like, well, I guess we should take this fight now. You don't have to. You don't have to.
Classic Dota.
So he's got a nice Roche off the Exo. That's pretty cool. Silencer's griefing your farm. Very nice. Yeah, I would have pushed up further here. For sure. I mean, I don't see them, but like they're probably bottom. We just took Roche, they didn't contest. Like they're probably not in their own jungle right now. We can kind of assume that. So I would have like pushed out. I would have like walked forward and farmed like this creep camp and like maybe this one, and then depending on what I see, like determine if like this wave is like safe to farm once it like gets to like here.
Yeah.
Because, like, if they feel strong, maybe they, like, smoke to our triangle while we're running back to our triangle, right? It's like, I don't know. You know. Yeah, I've got Aegis, but we're playing very scared. Not like I want you to, like, go fight them with the Aegis, because you don't have a BKB or even your Manta yet. But, like, notice how nobody was up here. This was all farm that you could have taken. And instead you, like, kind of took the triangle, like, once. Or maybe twice, and that was it. Because the triangle's not very efficient these days. It's only 2 camps.
Yeah.
Alright.
I mean, I guess... How do I tell, like, whether I'm just going to feed up there or whether it's worth going up there? I guess that's what's in my head.
Well, so
Yeah.
you're not used to games like this, so your like game sense about what is possible or what is not is like not attuned to like these map situations. So
Yeah.
there's no like easy answer. I would say to like just push your limits a little bit more and like see how it goes.
Yeah.
You know, the only way to learn if it was too dangerous for you to be there or not is to like get caught and then learn from your mistake, right?
Yeah.
If you're always defaulting to being too careful, you're just never going to outfarm their carry.
Right.
You just aren't. Yeah, and here coming back was not good. So you saw them all mid. Or, like, them all, right? But, like, they're undying their tinies mid. Well, I guess you see them walk towards you, is what we saw. This replay bug is super annoying.
Yeah, I guess I'm feeling like pressure to contribute by this point in the game, but the fact of the matter is I just don't have my item, whether I
Yeah.
like it or not.
Yeah, you don't. Okay, well we saw Tiny kind of move bottom, so I thought I didn't see that originally, and I would have been like, it would have been really nice if you'd been pushing out this lane and applying like side lane pressure while they're doing this, so that your team's getting something out of it. But yeah, this is like, you lost the tower, so there's not a tower defense. This is just a team fight in an open area, and this isn't to your advantage at all. And I think you really need like, it's kind of a hard Luna game, honestly, because they like kill you through BKB. Yeah, it's kind of a really hard Luna game, but like I feel like you definitely kind of need BKB. But you definitely want like your team to be going in first. It's actually not a good draft at all. No offense to your drafter, but it's just like 5 ranged heroes that are all kind of
No, we
squishy.
discussed that during the draft. We were picking our last pick was Silencer, and we were discussing how we don't have a frontliner.
Yeah.
And the thought was like, oh, Silencer's just too good this game. But it does just feel like this is a very kind of like unbalanced draft on our part, right? It's not like a good just team comp. It's very like lopsided.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you've got Exo, it's hard to fight into you guys, I guess. But if they like get on top of you, they can like get on top of you and burst you. And yeah, I just wouldn't have tried to take this fight at all. I would have been happy to like let them take this tower, and then like, right, you have Aegis, right? They're not going to go high ground. So at that point, you guys can like smoke out or something, instead of just look to take the fight right here where they're all like set up, presumably. Like your Death Prop was just kind of out of position, and then you all just like followed up on her being out of position. Well, not even you all, but like you. You followed up on your Death Prop being out of position, basically, is all that happened there. I think maybe we pressed the mini-map there or something.
Yeah, sometimes I do that accidentally, and it makes my hero go backwards.
Yeah, there's a setting. Where is it? Mini-map, so it's in Options Advanced. Mini-map misclick protection time. So time in seconds, the input isn't registered when the mouse first enters the minimap area. So if you're doing that sometimes, move this up higher.
I made a new account. Maybe I didn't adjust it from the old one. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll do that right now. So options.
Yeah, options, advanced.
So I want a higher time, right?
Yeah.
Probably like maybe double it or go to 0.5. I'll try 0.5. I'll go to the max and I'll see like what it does.
Yeah, I don't know what it feels like when it's like too high. You know, obviously you'll be like, why is my clicking on my minimap not working? But usually you're not like moving, right? You're not like trying to get your hero somewhere by clicking on the minimap. So.
But maybe if it's too high, that'll help me become more aware of it. You know?
Yeah.
So it could be good. I'll try it out. Thanks.
No problem. Okay, so we want to fight, or kind of trade it even. But all things considered, because you guys were behind, this is like winning a fight. So like, what should you do? It's really important that you like maximize these times. Like Enigma dies right here. You need to like book it to like a side lane and like get out on the map and keep farming. That's like your main objective right now, is to not be sitting in your base not farming once the engagement's over. So like right now you need to like run down this lane, and then if you think your triangle's safe to farm, you can farm it, and if you think it's not, just keep running and like farm like up here, and then like look to farm backwards. It like kind of depends on what the map looks like, right? But they've got some heroes dead. They're probably
so much
not
vision
gonna
up
run
there
straight
too.
up here. Yeah, you've got vision. Like it's closer, or there's camps safer. It like feels better than running bottom to me based on the map, right?
Yeah, just run up there as
I
far
need
as
you to
possible
book
and
it
then farm
top right
backwards.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of just sitting around doing nothing. Some dying's like hanging around. Like, you don't want to be here, right? Oh, you died. Yeah. Yeah, you just didn't want to be there. You want to be like out on the map looking for farm, keeping back if they're like hanging out. So yeah, I would not chase your Death Prophet to this lane here. Right, you guys have a very limited area of the map, so this is just like kind of map distribution efficiency. First thing is your Manta Illusion should be used for the lanes. So you should send your Manta and clear mid, because clearing mid is very dangerous for your team right now, as you experience by like dying right aside your down. So do it with illusions, right? Do it with your Manta illusions. Clear mid, and then you farm this camp and farm this camp, while your Death Prophet like runs up and farms the lane, right? That's like all you can do to like get as much farm as you can without like griefing your Death Prophet at the same time. So right now nobody's farming this camp, which is like one of the 3 camps you guys can safely farm, right? And like no one's farming it. That's not good. Right, and then we're here like taking the farm from our Death Prophet. So now like, right, instead of you getting this, you're saying your Manta Illusions on it, was like, at least you were thinking about it. But right, if he wanted to get his BKB, right, like he needs his BKB, you need your BKB. Try not to like step on each other's toes like that.
Okay.
You know, if it was his fault, it would have been his fault, but in that case, kind of like your fault. And you could have even not farmed the wave here, but like you could have just farmed this camp, because nobody farmed this camp either. So you're just like kind of leaving camps unfarmed when you guys have access to very few camps. Alright, they're getting a triangle. Kind of panic Manta there. It's not a huge deal though. Would have been nice to like send them down mid though, like send our Manta Illusions down mid.
Right.
When I'm behind on Luna, that's like all I'm doing. Oh yeah, I was gonna say that's like you're kind of psycho for doing that. Here you can Manta and like just send them out like in various directions, like scout. Maybe they go in your illusion. I don't mind what you're doing here though, actually, because it's like very dangerous to be out on the map.
Yeah, this is kind of just like the rest of the game. Mostly is just like, well, it was all dark and their heroes are very bursty. You know, they just like
They like, find 2 minutes to kill you.
Yeah, so I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, it's tough. You guys are behind, and they have a high damage lineup, and you guys are a bunch of squishy range heroes for the most part. So it's just kind of a draft thing, right? If you get really behind in a draft like this, it's just kind of what it looks like. It's like really hard to like take an engagement. What time is it? 6:13. What time do we start? We started a little bit before 5, right?
Yeah, was it just an hour or how long?
Right around 5. It's been like an hour 15 or something. Did you want to keep looking at this game, or do you want to like look at a pub replay real quick?
Oh, I was saying I forgot like how long the sessions
Oh,
were.
hour and a half usually. 90 minutes
Hour and a half?
ish, yeah.
Yeah, I have one pub game we can look at.
Okay, yeah, let's take a look at that.
Yeah, but I think just kind of like expecting them to run at me more, expecting the games to be a little more odd like this.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
not odd, but like different than what I'm used to.
Yeah, and you just have to adapt. But if you can, get into that recovery phase sooner and give yourself more tools to like recover, we're talking about like our skill build and our items, right? You'll have more impact earlier than you are in like these games, right? That's part of the reason why it's not going well.
Exactly. If I had a BKB 5 minutes earlier,
Exactly.
would have been much different. I wouldn't have been afraid to, because then I can go as far as I want on the map, right? Unless they have a stun.
Yeah.
BKB piercing stun.
Right, it lets you farm too.
Let's try this game. So I've been just crushing it with Spectre in my pubs. Like, no one pressures me for the most part, and the game goes really late, and like she's just devastating when she gets like, a mana, a Scotty, Ags. Like you're a big problem for people at that point,
Right.
So this game was one of my losses on her, and probably is going to be related partially to the item builds. So we were against a Medusa. So usually my item build on Spectre is I get Treads, Falcon Blade, and then I go for the Manta first instead of the Ags first, because my
I think
rationale...
Ags first is not a thing. Nobody buys Ags like first item.
Okay. I feel like they used to do that.
I think people maybe went like Echo Saber, just assemble into Ags or something, maybe?
Could be, yeah.
I'm almost
well, in any
positive
case,
nobody went Ags first.
Okay, well, I'm not doing it anyways for the most part. So, but in this game, I kind of skipped Manta, and I just went for this like Ags Diffusal Falcon Blade thing, because there was the Medusa, and so I think that might have been part of the issue.
Yeah.
Because I feel like once you're just not much of a hero. I feel like until you have Manta on her.
No, yeah, I agree. I don't think even skip Manta on Spectre. It's too good. It kind of works with the diffusal too, like it. Like your illusions burn mana, right?
Yeah, and like you're so much more powerful when you have Manta, even just for the fact that you can start pushing waves way better. And so yeah, I think that was one of the issues. But maybe there's some others. So this isn't really my normal item builds.
I think this is okay. I like starting stick, probably against like a Jakiro or a Puck or something. Oh, you're against somebody who's going to be casting spells. So I like the stick a lot. 6 tangos is okay. You can go like 3. You can go 1 set of tangos, and then with the extra 100 gold, it's like 120. You can buy like, you can just buy like a 3rd Iron Branch or something, and then like see how the lane goes.
Yeah.
I don't hate starting. I don't hate it. I just don't love it. That's okay. I like the stick a lot.
Well, it makes sense because you're not gonna use 6 tangos in the time that you can get a courier out, right?
Exactly.
It really
You
doesn't serve any point.
Right.
Yeah. So you might as well just even save the gold.
Yeah.
Or buy another branch. Yeah. Like if you don't need them, then fuck it. Don't need them. Yeah, I think I need to get out of that habit. They nerfed her like dagger a while back, so now it's a lot harder to get last hits with it. You kind of have to do like a dagger plus right click.
Yeah, it's like 70 damage or something level 1. Yeah, it's awful. I'm a big fan of Spectre, but yeah, the dagger sucks now. Early. Alright, we're CSing okay, though. This is like good so far. Good defensive aggro. This, you know, it's not like the last two lanes that had Marcy's in them. I'll defensive aggro more here. Especially against double ranged, right? Like, so like you defensive aggro... Nope. So now you're like not doing it right. They're like just pelting.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just doing it because you're not defensive aggroing, right? If you were standing back here, but still in range to creep, like they just can't do. They just literally can't do it. Again, you're going the Wraith Band. You seem very attached to this. Like I can't say it's like always bad. I just don't think it's like a must buy, and you're like must buying it.
So it's really not something that's gonna help you farm at all. It's only like if you're gonna be like trading and like manning up to people.
Exactly.
And in this lane, I'm never gonna be hitting them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I am kind of just like attached to like completing it for no good reason.
No, because this game you didn't even start the components, and I was like, oh, maybe we'll skip it, and then you queued it up and are buying it. On the whole, though, it's not too bad. It's not the worst Wraithband game ever. Like, they are pelting you a lot, so the armor's kind of nice. I would definitely consider getting a raindrop. Actually, I definitely would get a raindrop. I wouldn't even consider it. I would definitely be buying a raindrop. ASAP. I like how you're focused on the most part for CS, though. It's good. Maybe would have daggered there.
Just for the raindrop for the CM, mostly?
Yeah, or Starfall. Works against Starfall, works against...
Oh, right.
The extra mana for the dagger's nice. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yep.
It's just like popping off.
Yeah, raindrops I need to buy more often.
Yeah. Yeah, because you even man up a little bit, because you're like blocking some of this damage, then you're like higher HP, and then you could be like, you know, if you're like in this Morana's face hitting him, like he has to run away, right? Like if it's straight up, then you win the trade. So yeah, if you play the distance, then you're always just like being really passive. Oh man, I love the stick. This stick is like saving you. I don't know if you noticed that. Very good stick game.
Yeah.
It's probably gotten you like 500 HP or something in mana.
Yeah, on Spectre, if you can just like sit in the lane,
Yep,
you're good.
Nice.
Yeah, I really liked Ring of Tarrasque when it was in the game.
Oh yeah. Siege creeps creeping on last hits.
I don't like the new neutral items at all, like the low level ones. I don't know. What do you think about them? I think they kind of suck. Like they're just...
I think they're okay. Like that, the one that gives you mana when the things hit you, like that's really good
You get
on
hit.
a lot of carries.
Yeah.
The HP regen one where you put down a little like field is like kind of garbage. I don't like it. So yeah, you can like just go hit the small camp here, right? Like if you're not like getting the CS, like here you can defend.
I can't do anything. You can hit this small camp until it goes into the tower or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Just let him shove it into you, and then like go. Like, as soon as you kill this. Okay. Oh, yeah, it was a bunch of HP, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a little hard. You have no. Yeah, a raindrop just would have helped, you know, because then you're not like taking all this damage in the first place.
Yep.
It's kind of hard to recommend something other than a raindrop here. It's like if you just had a raindrop and you wouldn't be super low HP. Because yeah, now they're just like effectively like harassed you out.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, I can't walk up to the wave too well without taking a shitload of
so
damage.
Go like hit the small camp or something.
Yeah, the raindrops would totally help with that. They've absorbed one of their spells. I don't know why I don't go hit the small camp.
Yeah. Yeah, in hindsight it always looks better, right? You're like, oh yeah, I should have just gone into the small camp here. But anytime you're just sitting doing nothing like this, Like, this is your indication that you need to be hitting a small camp. When you're just sitting
Yep.
here AFK in the lane waiting, just go hit the small camp instead.
Yep.
You're full HP. Right, it's like your thought process carry is I must be hitting creeps. And if you can't hit the lane creeps, you gotta go find other ones.
Yep. Yeah, even here I can't really walk up. Even to, I can't even the creep aggro is kind of
Yep.
inefficient.
Yep. So yeah, I would just be going to the small camp and letting him shove it in. What are you doing here? Texting somebody back. Yeah, this is just like unacceptable. You just can't do this. Like, you could have killed the small camp like 4 times or something.
That's kind of painful to watch.
Tell me about it. You're not the only one though, so it's okay. Yeah, just never be okay with doing nothing.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Just about to say, this lane is like crazy passive. It's just like them sitting there, you guys just sitting here, no rotations or anything. Still not hitting the small camp. I find that very interesting. Definitely be mixing. I mean, it's like we're like 12 minutes here. This isn't like even at like 7 minutes. Like I usually tell people, like, you know, start mixing in like the camps, right?
Yep.
Like just for efficiency's sake, even if the lane's going fine. This is 12 minutes and you've not once looked to go hit the small camp. So yeah, it's definitely just one of those efficiency things. Your efficiency will skyrocket if you start mixing those camps. Yeah, I don't really like this TP.
Probably could have just hit those camps and they probably would have left.
Yeah. Yeah, because like you didn't get kicked out of here. Like if they shove this under the tower, you can still farm this, right? And like this
Yes, like
Medusa is
Mirana and a
obviously
CM are
doing
not
well.
going to kill me.
Yeah, and this Medusa is obviously doing well. So you're TPing into
That's another story.
into this guy's, you know, like you're TPing into this guy's face, and he's like enormous, you know. Like if this guy tries to harass you out, he's just gonna harass you out.
Yeah, I need to think about that more carefully.
I mean, he's not, but like if he wanted to, like he could like walk up and snake you right now, and you just have to run away, and you wouldn't get any CS. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You definitely shouldn't be buying more tangos at this phase in the game. That's not really a thing. Usually with like a neutral item and the stats you've kind of got like enough. Like if you end up getting like low enough to where like you need to like fly out like a salve or something, that's like not unheard of. But like you definitely shouldn't be buying just more tangos like in the fountain while you're at full HP.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I did that there.
So yeah, you're just rushing this diffusal. And yeah, the idea of the diffusal against the Medusa is good, but like going diffusal first item says like I'm having a good game and I want to like own, right? And you know, our game's going okay, but like not really, right? You spend a lot of time not hitting creeps. Like you haven't died, but like, you know, I know you don't see the net worth in game, but like I wouldn't feel like, oh man, like I'm like really strong right now, right? Like that's not really how we're feeling.
Well, yeah, I mean, given that the Medusa is like 6-0 or some shit like that, I should definitely not feel like...
Yeah, and when that's
Like,
the
it's just
case, like diffusal is like, you know, I had a good lane and I'm gonna like own. And like also it counters the Medusa. Versus like the Manta is just like the all-around good item, right? It dispels, it gives more damage. And then we can still go back for diffusal later just because it's so good against Medusa, right? I'm not saying you can't get diffusal at all.
Yeah, but definitely Manta first. Manta, then maybe Diffusal.
Yeah.
After I don't know, even then.
Yeah, even then, I mean, you don't really need the diffusal right away. Like, it'll, like, be good whenever you do go buy it. But if you went like Manta, Scotty, Diffusal or something, you know, that would be like pretty sweet. Give you a lot of HP. Shred switching for our daggers. It's nice.
Would it be fine? I mean, just do Manta, Ags, then Scotty, and then Diffusal?
Sort of, but like your lineup does not really enable the Ags at all. And having Ags also is like, I can show up and like fuck with this somebody and kill them, right? Like that's the idea behind the Ags, is like you see a support walking by themselves and you like go on them and like can kind of kill them, right? But if you have Ags and you're not really a threat to anybody, it's like, what's the point, you know?
Yep.
So I'm not saying like you shouldn't go Ags at some point, but I wouldn't slot it in there early because it's just not that kind of game, it seems like.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Nice. Team's going their mid. Clarity. Getting our Diffusal. Oh, did you haunt for the puck? What did you haunt for?
Yeah, with the puck. I remember this part of the game. Like, she would be lost vision over.
I didn't even notice that you would use haunt because he died in your illusion over there. Okay. Not a huge deal.
Not sure if that was really worth it or not.
It's whatever. You're trying to steer the kill. I don't mind. Wow, that was a lot of neutral items. Holy moly. Alright, so we've got our Diffusal.
Ready to kill the Medusa. Let's go.
Right?
I mean, yeah, because in all likelihood, it's like if I have a fight, I'm not going to go on the Medusa anyways, right? Like, I'm going to go on everybody else.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then if I kill everybody else, then I don't really need a diffusal. It's like the need for a diffusal blade isn't that high. So yeah, it's just having a Manta would be way better.
Yeah. So here, you finish your Diffusal, you don't have Haunt, but you have finished an item, you're kind of at a power spike. So I would be like checking out this fight with like your player perspective and be interested in showing up, like walking towards it. I'm not saying you definitely need to, but because you're at a timing, I would like to see you like your interest in like fighting them should be pretty high right now. Even though you're kind of behind, right? You should be like kind of like,
yeah.
Oh, I want to use my Diffusal and like kind of see how it goes. And if it looks like a bad fight, then you still don't go, right? Doesn't mean you like take any fight. And your Haunt wasn't up, so I don't. But like if you're looking, then you can like make those decisions, right?
Yeah.
Be thinking about going and then decide from there. So we have Haunt now, and we have Diffusal. So now I'd be telling my team to like go. And you're a Spectre, so you're not really like there when it starts. But I'd be telling my team like, hey, I'm really strong. Like go start a fight somewhere, and I will Haunt in. 100% what I would be doing.
So this is typical map structure in my games.
Yeah.
My whole team bottom.
Classic Lone War pubs.
Why do you think that is? Like, why do they always play bottom there?
Well, I don't know. There's like, you know, the cores like to farm the jungle, and supports like to not do anything in Lone War. And when supports don't do anything, like the cores can't do anything. So, and a lot of times when the supports don't do anything, it's because they're like just chilling down here, you know.
Yep.
Not really doing something, right? So
it's just kind of more of a chill zone down there.
Yeah. That's kind of what I see. Is like a lot of times it's the supports not doing jack shit. Like I would definitely be looking at this fight that's happening right now. You're like not paying enough attention at all. There's a big fight happening.
Yeah.
Wait, when did you use Haunt? When did this happen? puck went on you. Oh, you used Haunt to like chase the puck or get away? Oh yeah, that kind of hurts. I mean, not that your team was doing anything, but even then, you have your defusal. I don't know, I would just be more
I don't know
interested
why I
in like,
used it
taking
there,
a fight. Even without Haunt.
I think that when I don't have Haunt, I always just default to not even doing any fighting, but I think I can try and maybe play with my team a little bit more when Haunt's down if appropriate.
Yeah, well, and think about your item timings, right? You got your defusal, and you haven't fought them once.
Yeah.
You know, feels kind of bad. And, you know, if you're getting really, really close to Ags, at that point you're like, okay, well, I don't want to fight them, but it's like a scale, right?
Yeah,
Right
okay.
when you get your item, you should be like, I really want to fight them, and then as you get closer and closer to your next item, you should be like, alright, I don't need to fight them right now.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, we are just chilling and nobody's trying to kill us, unlike our competitive games.
That's probably why Spectre's better in low MMR.
Yeah, and like here again, like their Medusa's not here. Granted, your Clink starts the fight by dying. God, these replay bugs are so bad.
But yeah, I mean the problem is I'm not even looking.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
You're just not looking to start, and then, you know, any reaction that happens is like late. Like what I've been telling some people, like in my coaching sessions, like especially as carry, is like if you finish an item, like I mean even a Spectre, which is like hard to, you know, right? Because you don't have to be there to start the fight, but like sometimes that's what it takes in Guardian, right? Buy a smoke yourself. Tell your team to group up on you. Say, I just finished my defusal. I'm strong. Let's haunt, right? Get them to coordinate and do a play. Because these fights that start with like them invading you guys and just getting a pick off on somebody, like that's not how you want fights to start, right? You want to be grouped up, all on the same page, looking for a fight when it starts. And then the other team will be the team that's not ready for it, right? Not your team.
yeah, we want to be the ones starting it when we're in a good spot.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have definitely been getting better with that because I remember last session, because I kind of used to be like the carry though. I mean, I'm still like this somewhat. Like I would just always farm and never join my team. But remember we talked about that last session, like when I, you know, on Jog when I have my alt, you know, look to try and help more often. So
Exactly.
I've been getting better with that for sure, and it's been paying off. So I think I can do it even more.
Absolutely.
I think the thing with Spectre is it's kind of easier to fall into that trap of not doing anything when your alt is down, because she just kind of plays like that a little bit. But I can try and start participating a bit more.
Yeah. And so here I'm a little confused why you stopped farming the lane. Like you start walking backwards here. What are you afraid of? This is like autopilot, I think. I feel like you're just not... Like you're like looking, that's fine. It's really great that you're looking, but like just move your hero to like this tower or something, right?
Yeah.
You don't have Haunt, so your only decision is whether you're TPing back or not. And if
Right.
you're not TPing back, you should definitely still be farming.
Yep.
So, okay, you have your Ags. Maybe you're just walking back to your courier? That's when you have your Ags and then you... Oh no, you didn't TP. That's interesting.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I mean, I think what was happening, if I had to guess, was I was watching the fight in this case and trying to determine what to do. And while I was watching the fight and trying to think about what to do, I was just like not doing anything with my hero.
Right. Made sure it wasn't gonna like die or something while you were looking at it.
Yeah, but I could have. Honestly, I have had some sad moments where I've been looking at the fight and I end up like getting killed by like a Sven with God's strength while I'm not watching my hero.
Yeah. No, it happens. It happens.
But yeah, I guess but I mean, it just kind of comes back to the same thing with like I'm not sending my illusions down the waves. It's a similar type of thing, right? I can send my hero down the wave there, and need to just be doing the most efficient thing at all times.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard. I would for sure keep walking up the wave here. Like, their puck's dead. Their Medusa's showing mid. So again, it's like, what are you afraid of, right? Like, do their heroes kill you? Like, I don't think so.
No.
So yeah, you're just like walking away from this wave. It's like right here. It's like very painful. Should definitely be pushing that out and getting that map pressure. Because like somebody else on your team could have farmed this, right? Instead of you. If you like push this out, maybe your Clinks like could come and farm the triangle, and then like it's like space for your Clinks while you're still like out on the map, right? There's a fight happening. Okay, now we're looking. Okay. The problem is we're just looking really late. But this is like a 4v5. So you should be like very, very willing to show up to this. Like you should be just like haunting. Like I would just haunt, 100% haunt. Like they have no business doing whatever the fuck this is down here. Yeah, I mean your Panda got his ulti off. Yeah, this is just really unfortunate. Like it definitely, if you'd been paying attention earlier, like you just have to like, you know, be aware of what's happening. Right?
Yep.
Rough.
All right. That was bad on me for sure.
Okay. It happens. I think this is good. I'm gonna go get some food now. Do you have any questions to close it out?
No. I think yeah, I think the competitive games are gonna be interesting. The ones that we've been winning, you know, my team makes a lot of space for me, and it's just like, oh, I just farm and hit creeps, and it's easy.
Right.
But in the games where that doesn't happen, I need to, you know, take a chill pill and be a little more disciplined about like just like making sure I'm still getting what I can out of the game, and doing the right thing.
Absolutely, man. All right. Well, I'll send you the link to this video when it's up, so you can watch it back if you want. But thanks for signing up, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right. Later.
All right, see ya.